Azain, and I came to the School of Management to pursue the asset management degree last fall, so in August of 2022. And I graduated this May, and I'm currently working at Bridgewater Associates as a client service resource associate.
My name is Grace. I graduated from SOM this year in 2023, and right now I work for Morgan Stanley in New York.
Hi, my name is Luciano. I graduated from the program this past May, and after that I did a summer internship at a long-short hedge fund based in Connecticut, and now I'm at Cornell Law School.
Before coming to Yale, I was working in Hong Kong as a derivatives trader. I was kind of looking for a career pivot. And that's the motivation behind my aspiration to get a master's degree. And as for why Yale, I think Yale Asset Management is a very special program because it really caters for people who want to work for the buy side, hedge funds, endowments, this kind of buy side organizations. And Connecticut is a very special geographical location. So Connecticut is home to a lot of the world-renowned hedge funds. And it also has access to New York and Boston area. So if you are looking forward to getting access to these buy-side big names, then Connecticut is a really good place.
I think I wanted to pursue a master's degree in finance, especially quantitative finance, and I knew that fairly early on. I think it started when I interned during the last 6 months of my undergraduate degree at MSCI in index research, and I thought that it was really cool that I could use what my undergraduate program in engineering in information technology had given me, which is working with data, thinking through problems analytically, and then apply them to financial problems, which I always thought were really cool because they felt very relevant to me. I would always give the example of picking up the newspaper, seeing inflation's at 5%, and then what does that really mean for me? Why should I care? And that was something that always intrigued me. So I thought this is the best of both worlds. I want to get a little bit more experience, and I feel at some point I want to go and study this officially. And then when I was looking at master's degrees, Yale really stood out because of the curriculum. Professor Toby Moskowitz, who launched this program, is one of the forefront people in developing systematic investing strategies. That really stood out. Brian Kelly, again, somebody who's leading the revolution in machine learning and finance. His curriculum really stood out. So I thought this would be a really good fit.
So my chief advice would be to really get a true sense of what this program looks like. So of course, watching videos like this is excellent, but reach out to alumni. The alumni of this program are really very willing to talk, and we'll kind of walk you through what the day-to-day looks like. And then you can imagine yourself in our shoes and what it's like to attend this program. And I think that's really important because once you can truly immerse yourself in what it would be like and visualize that, then everything else you do is so much easier. It's so much easier to sit down and grind the GRE or the GMAT. It's so much easier to write a very authentic personal statement because you actually want to be there. I think adding that personal touch to the application is so very important.
It's good to demonstrate your understanding of the program, the motivation behind the program, and then clearly lay out why you want to apply for this program. It is also very helpful to really get a lot of great either full-time or internship experience at name organizations. You can work for buy side, sell side, doesn't matter, but I think the program values experience a lot.
This is a very quantitative and rigorous program, at least in your first semester, where the core coursework is quite quantitative. So have a good grasp on linear algebra, I would say. Understand how you can code effectively. You don't need to be a software developer, but know how to use Python to get stuff done and get it done quickly, I would say, because you're gonna come here, you're gonna hit the ground running with your problem sets. So have that grasp on programming. And other than that, I would just get in a habit of reading financial news regularly and trying to set aside some time to think about that and have some original, if not original, having some deep level thoughts on what you're reading?
So I think many courses in our curriculum are, for example, quant investing, machine learning, hedge fund strategies, fixed income, are really teaching the cutting edge research of world-renowned hedge funds. For example, the betting against beta is like a very new factor exposed by AQR Capital. And then like we learned that in the classroom during our lectures. And it's a really cool thing to learn the cutting edge research in the industry in modern finance. And it's also a very like intense learning progress because you would have like one deadline after another. You'll be doing a lot of coding projects pretty much independently. And I definitely learned a lot from that process.
A lot of students from this program do want to get into the asset management industry. And I think it's just important to be prepared and to be cognizant that it is, first of all, difficult, although Yale will give you the tools for sure. But second of all, it is, again, very chaotic and unstructured. And as a result, it's really important to reach out to alumni. It's really important to reach out to people in the field so they can give you a more crystal clear understanding of what it takes to get into these fields.
How you pitch and position yourself is really important. It can't just be like, hey, I'm XYZ, these are my skills and I'm looking for a job. It also has to tie back to, well, why should they hire you? The job market, especially right now, is very difficult, and you need to like really drive your value proposition. Like make it very easy for a recruiter to justify your candidature to the hiring manager. This is how you should look at it. Because you'll often go through recruiters. If you go directly to a hiring manager, again, you need to pitch yourself.
I think first, of course, the academics were excellent. The faculty is incredible. The classes are small. I think it really satiated whatever intellectual itch I had about finance. And I think every time I was in these classrooms, I was just in reverence of the fact that I could be here and always grateful for that. So in that sense, it was a very transformative academic experience. The second thing is friendship. You're in a small cohort with people who are interested in the exact same things as you and are going through the exact same highs and lows as you. And I think it creates this bond, this friendship that is just lasting. And with my best friends, we're always in contact, and we will always be in contact until the end of time. The memories I made with them in New Haven are unforgettable. And finally, Yale itself, New Haven itself. I didn't know anything about New Haven before I got there. But when I got there, I fell in love with the city. I fell in love with the history there. I fell in love with the fact that there's an art museum. I would go on skates at the beautiful ice rink during lunch. Biking around New Haven's wonderful. I think while you're there, it's important to not only appreciate the academics, but also to give the same due respect to the friendships you can make there and to the connection with the place that you're at.